The product shown in this video was provided by the manufacturer for the purpose of this review. Check the link in the description for more information about the product.
Battery life, something that Switch owners have become all too familiar with, something that runs through their head all the time when they're portable with their Switch away from home. That's why a lot of us have bought things like portable battery banks, but something like that is loose and kind of by itself. Wouldn't it be better if there was a way to attach the battery to the device and not have to carry it around separately? Well, Antank has decided to bring a portable battery case to market here, but can this really add that much battery life, and is it worth hauling something around that could make your Switch heavier? Let's find out. So first thing I did when I got it, I took a look around the box. And the front is simply a large plastic window that gives us a view to the back of the battery case. And on the back, they go over all of the features of the battery, including the adjustable kickstand and battery indicator located on the back. It's also noted on the back of this box that this device has overcharge protection, so leaving it plugged in won't, or at least shouldn't according to them, hurt the device or your Switch. With the battery out of the box, we can take a look at what it comes with. Looks like they include a pouch for the battery itself. I couldn't seem to fit the Switch equipped with the case in this pouch, so it's just for the battery itself apparently. They also packaged in a set of instructions and a thank you note. That's kind of nice. So here's the battery case unboxed. On the inside, we can see the markings for the battery capacity at 6,500 milliamp hours, making it about 1.5 times or so larger than the Switch's internal battery. It's also worth noting that they added 2 vents to accommodate the intake vents on the back, just in case you were concerned about the airflow. You can also see the USB-C input at the bottom of the case where the Switch will plug in. Flipping it over, we get a good look at the 2 kickstands on the back. These kickstands have 3 different positions depending on the angle you want the Switch to sit. I noticed the kickstands are not the strongest, and they can be moved between positions due to the Switch and the battery's weight. Speaking of which, let's quickly weigh the case to see how much heavier it will make your system. The Switch with the Joy-Cons attached weighs in at 400 grams. With the case attached, the weight jumps to 628 grams, which is nearly 1.5 pounds. I'm not sure how you would add several batteries to a system and not expect it to be heavier by a considerable amount. Unfortunately, if you want longer battery life for the most part from any type of case or add-on, you're going to have to live with a beefier system. Completing our tour of the battery case, we have a slot at the top that acts as a game holder. When open, there is room for 2 separate game cards to rest inside, giving you an easier time to carry extra games around. While it can be tough at times to close the latch with these games inside, this is more of an extra feature kind of tacked onto the case itself. I also noticed getting the games in and out of the system were made harder by the added thickness around the door, thanks to the grooves kind of around the case. Not the end of the world, but it was kind of annoying and it's worth noting. So you may be asking, well, how exactly does this case work? Well, I'm happy to say it's pretty easy. To start, you press the 2 buttons on the back that allow the top to spring up. This will allow you to fit your Switch into the case, and you just press down on the top to lock it in. Make sure though you're careful when setting the Switch in, because you want to make sure it plugs into the USB-C port before attempting to lock it in. Failing to do so would probably damage either the case or your Switch. On the back there is a button as well as a battery level indicator. You press it once to turn it on and the 4 lightning bolt symbols will appear. These symbols represent the level of charge left with each lightning bolt representing 25%. I think personally I would have preferred a more accurate way, such as the display, for example, that shows the exact percentage between 0 and 100%. But this is certainly better than nothing. I assume they left with lightning bolts there to save on costs. If you're all finished playing for your session, to turn the battery off, simply double tap the button and you'll see everything just shut down. So we've had a look at this battery case, and I know what you're probably asking, does it actually work? I mean, will it add considerable amount of time to your system? And the answer, I'm happy to say, is yeah, it will. So to test it, I used Zelda, as that same game seems to stress the system and devour battery life relatively quickly. For a baseline, I tested the Switch at full brightness with Wi-Fi on and blasted the speakers. This gave me 2 hours and 41 minutes on a full charge before the Switch shut itself down with the battery indicator light blinking. With the battery attached and on with both the Switch and the battery, keep that in mind, at full charge, I was able to run the exact same test for 6 hours and 35 minutes, a significant jump from the Switch itself. Now, there were some oddities that I noticed with this battery case. For one, I couldn't seem to get the Nintendo adapter to work all the time with it. In fact, this case seemed to do some weird stuff to that adapter. It would charge for a little bit, then all of a sudden it would stop charging and the official Nintendo adapter wouldn't work at all. It was weird. I had to actually unplug the box from the power strip or the wall, let it sit for like maybe a minute, plug it back in, and then it would work again. But for some reason, this battery would cause it to act up. Now, what I ended up doing was just using a standard USB Type-C to USB-A, and then I just used a standard cell phone charger. I actually had a 2-amp one laying around, and that worked really well. I would recommend just using that. It does not come with a cable or a wall wart. You will have to get one yourself, although I have a feeling most of us have wall warts sitting around. You may just want to order a USB-C to Type-A cable for this. So overall, this battery case works well. It doesn't take up a ton of space on the Switch. It makes it thicker. Yes, it definitely does. Overall, this battery case does what it's supposed to do. It adds a pretty good amount of time to the Switch's battery life. In fact, this would get you through something like a 6-hour flight without too much issue. And what's nice is, yes, it's heavier, but if you're on a flight, for example, where you have a table that you can sit it down, it won't matter because it's going to be sitting in front of you and you would have the 2 Joy-Cons to use and play. So while it definitely feels heavier in the hands when it's sitting by itself, you don't notice it. Now, the pricing on this battery case is $50. So it's going to come down to if it's worth it to you to get $50, spend it on this case, and get something like 6.5 hours battery life rather than roughly 2 hours and 40-something minutes. Keep in mind, that was at full blast. I have a feeling if you did things like turn the brightness down, turn the volume down, maybe turned off Wi-Fi if you're flying, like I said, if you're on a flight, you'd probably get longer than that by a decent amount. I have a feeling this battery case could get over 7 hours if you maybe were a little better about what you had on the Switch, unlike me when I, blast the brightness. But that's it for the Antank battery case. Let me know what you guys think about this. It is on sale right now. Amazon Prime shipping. There is a link in the description below. And if you're interested, I would check it out. I think it does beat a portable battery bank if you don't want to have to walk around with something and maybe you want something that's attached to your Switch, a little easier to carry around. Keep in mind, it does make it thicker, so it may not be as portable as it was before, although obviously it's arguable with how the size of the Switch if it actually is portable. But I do like the case. I like the idea. I will be curious to see what other people come out with as well, and I just don't know if it'll ever get any thinner. I mean, you're strapping batteries to the back of it. That's literally what we're doing. Some people may ask why I did not open this case. Honestly, it's sealed. It's sealed up like a laptop battery would be, so opening it up would not accomplish much, and it probably would damage it. And while it wouldn't catching on fire, it probably wouldn't be the smartest thing to do to start breaking batteries open with screwdrivers or something. But that's it for today, guys. Like I said, you could check the description below. There's an Amazon link. This is Prime shipped, so you get it in like 2 days. And not bad overall. I'll see you guys next time.